Welcome to the RecoverMate podcast, where love, sobriety, and life gets real. I'm Rick.
And I'm Danielle. We're a husband and wife team sharing our personal journey through sobriety. And together, we are having all the difficult conversations that most people are too afraid to have in their relationship.
We're diving deep into the hard stuff, from our own past to recovery, parenting challenges, finances, and everything in between that comes with building a life together.
And trust us, nothing is off limits here. We're keeping it raw, honest, and unfiltered because that's what recovery, love, and real life looks like.
So whether you're sober, curious about recovery, or just looking for ways to keep love alive while living a sober life, you've come to the right place.
We're excited to share our most forbidden conversations with you. So grab a seat, buckle up, and get ready for the kind of discussions that you won't hear anywhere else.
Let's go!
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the RecoverMate podcast. I'm actually so excited today because this is the first time that we are having a guest speaker join us, and I absolutely love this girl. She is so inspiring, amazing, and I just love her. So I'm so excited that she is actually our first guest. Now, in this episode, it will only be me and her on this chat because Ricky is like, there's no way possible I'm going to get a word in with these two. So here we are today on our first episode with a guest, and I would like to introduce Ella.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
I'm just laughing because it's so true. Ricky won't get a word in.
I know, right? Bless him. So, Ella, tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey, well, she is a long one. I would say basically, first of all, I just want to share that I have started up my own business, and this would be a side note of 44 Strong. So thank you very much to that. I would say about 8 years ago, I started having the feelings of depression and just having that really negative mindset and not knowing what to do with it. I was feeling very frustrated of that constant loop of those feelings, not knowing what those feelings are and how to work with it. And just over all of these years of just going into that cycle of feeling, sad and lonely and depressed, and then coming out of it, and just sometimes it would last like weeks, sometimes it would last days, and sometimes it lasts a bit longer. And it just got to the point where I just wanted to like cut it out and shift it out and find new ways to help me get out of that mindset.
I think that's true, right? We do get to a certain point where it's like we just have enough of our own shit.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where we're like, oh, for God's sake, like, are we back here again? Are we doing this again? And, it does bring up the question of, all right, well, how do I do it? How do I start to break out of that place that I'm in, or that depressive state?
Yeah. It's just, you just get so frustrated with it. So you just get over it and knowing on, okay, what do I need to do to get out of this? And that's just the first step you have to take.
Mm-hmm. So what is one of the first steps that you did take? I know we spoke a little bit about your early journey, and it's so funny because we have so many things that cross over. So your journey started very similar to mine, where you started this fitness challenge or this mental mindset challenge. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it was probably about November last year. I really wanted to shift out of things. I felt that I was starting to drop off of the gym. My food wasn't great, and I just wasn't shifting mentally at all. And I was feeling really gross. I was feeling like I needed a cleanse on the inside and the outside. And I have started with a lot of body work. So I've done a lot of kinesiology and Reiki and reflexology and all of those things. And that is really good. And I still go to them. I find them very beneficial, but I find it works for maybe the 2 to 4 weeks before I go back for another appointment. So I wanted to put things in my own hands and see what I can do. So I decided to do the 75 hard challenge, and planning myself on what I'll be doing, how I'll be doing it, working myself around those 2 workouts a day and making sure I have all aspects of that challenge sorted and ready to go for the 3 months. And I just felt while doing it and then now reflecting back on it, it was more of a physical challenge rather than a mental challenge. And I just felt like what I wanted to shift wasn't shifting. And it just became very much, oh, this is just adding into my routine, 2 workouts a day, I can make that work. And I wasn't getting what I wanted out of that.
Yeah, I actually remember when you first started doing your challenge, and we had a conversation, and I brought up the live hard year. So after you finish the 75 hard, there's a like another component of it where you can do certain phases and complete the live hard year. And I remember talking to you about it because my experience was it was so masculine.
Yeah.
With you have to get things done. It has to be done here. No excuses. And I remember how much pressure I was putting on myself to do this. And I thought I felt great and my body felt great. And sure, I'd cut out certain things and I'd stop drinking and, those elements that were associated with the challenge. But my mental mindset was like I was just feeling so much pressure.
Mm, yeah, like, it was definitely like you felt more drained by doing it.
Mm, mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for men, right, like that program would be perfect for guys needing to step up to handle this stuff, do what needs to be done, stop moping around the house and really take some accountability. So I could see the benefits of why the program was set up, right? Like, to help men. But when it comes to us women, like we're not on a 24-hour cycle like men do. So men experience hormones and hormonal changes in 24-hour cycles, whether for us women, we're actually close to 28 to 30-day cycles. So
Yeah.
there's weeks where it's really tough. And there's weeks where we've got a lot of energy and we can lift heavier and we have more motivation. So, there's an element where actually nurturing yourself as a woman in that challenge, I personally found quite difficult.
Yeah, I can agree to that. And the mindset of it as well, where it's like, if you stuff up one thing, you go back to day 0, even if you're on your day 74, you miss out one
Mm,
thing, you go down to day 0, you start again. Like that's just brutal. Like I was literally like, oh, I'm not even gonna try and do that. Like I'm gonna make sure I get everything done, therefore putting more pressure on myself and just being so exhausted and tired, not only from having to work out twice a day every single day, but to that pressure, like we talked about, putting on ourselves to make sure we get everything done.
yeah, absolutely. So, Ella, you have a background in personal training. So, I would love to hear your insight into doing the 75 hard challenge and then continuing on to do the live hard challenge and how you've incorporated that into your personal training and what that's meant for you for your mental health.
Well, I definitely, the workout aspect of it was easy because I have that knowledge to create my own workouts, knowing what I need to do and what not to do. Um,
Hmm.
but just putting it in the perspective of with my personal training, knowing as well that you need rest days was very difficult to balance out because we learned that, okay, you need to have maybe 1 or 2 days in the week to rest. And then I decided to pick up this challenge where it's, no, you actually have to work out twice a day, no rest days. So it was very like just trying to find that balance of, okay, I've got to drop everything I know just for these 75 days was actually like quite difficult. And it was just
Mm.
not knowing on how to find that balance. And I feel like I still, like looking back at it now, I know I now have that balance because in hindsight, looking back of what I liked, what I didn't like, I'm putting it into my own lifestyle to fit in. But during the 75 days, it's like, okay, I just have to suck this up and drop everything I know that I know that's right for me and just do it.
Yeah. So, I think how this ties in is the 75 hard challenge, it opens up like a gateway to stop drinking, right? So
Yes.
it's a part of the challenges for 75 days, you can't drink alcohol. Now, I don't know about you, but when I decided to first, or I think it was maybe 3-ish years ago now, when I heard of the 75 hard challenge, I was actually a big listener of Andy Frisella and I listened to a lot of his podcasts. So I did enjoy him. I find him quite motivational. So I was on the bandwagon of him at that time, and I'd yeah, I thought, well, you know what, I'll give the 75 hard challenge a go. And I read in there that obviously you can't drink for the 75 days, and I thought, okay, well, we'll just see how that goes. But what I did do, and I wasn't conscious to this at the time, was I planned out the 75 days and almost the phases of the year around times where I wanted to drink. So,
Yes.
yeah, right. So,
Yes.
like, I had my birthday and I had like a Christmas, and I just didn't want to be drinking on New Year's. So, I started the challenge after New Year's, and this was way before I decided to do the Live Hard year, right? So, um, so I started it there, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've got this on throughout the year, so I can't do my phase here. And I can chuck 30 days in there because I've really got nothing massive going on there because I wanted to drink.
Yeah.
And I just felt, wow, like culturally, how we just make that assumption of going, okay, well, I can't drink for a period of time. So, where in my schedule in my life is a good time for me to give up drinking, rather than making that a last resort and just go, okay, this is what's best for me right now, regardless of what events are on or what's coming up. That I just decide to do the challenge anyway. Like we almost subconsciously set ourselves up.
Yeah, like, I was the exact same. Like I said, it was about November that I was starting to plan it, and I knew that I wanted to start in January, but I wanted to work around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and I actually had a festival on the first Saturday of January, and I was like, okay, I'm 100% drinking that. I can't not drink at a festival. So I wanted to plan around when I wasn't going to drink, and wanted to make sure that I would finish at a specific time before my 21st, because I also had the mindset of, oh, I have to drink on my 21st. And
Mm.
this was also before I decided to do the Live Hard challenge. And then when I did decide to do the Live Hard challenge, I once again was still working around, okay, when am I drinking? What events do I have on? And when do I need to have those breaks so then I can drink and make sure it doesn't clash with my birthday or my best friend's birthday or Christmas? And it's just like absolutely crazy that that was my first thing to make sure that I could work around.
Yeah, like every person that I speak to and I ask them that question, they're always like, "Oh yeah, I kind of did do that." And I just find like culturally it's just so interesting that we do that. Um so I had another question for you and it's escaped me, but what I wanted to really know was, you spent quite a lot of this year sober already, obviously doing the 75 hard challenge. And then you kind of signed up for our 44 strong challenge. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I saw
Yes.
your registration come through. I got so excited because I'm like, I bloody love this girl and she's going to get so much from this. But I'd love to hear, and I know other people who maybe have been thinking, oh, what the hell is this 44 strong challenge that these guys keep going on about?
Yeah.
I would love to hear from you about your experience of what that challenge was compared to what you have been doing.
Well, being able to compare it with 75 Hard is great because it really showed me what I actually was looking for and what I liked and didn't like about 75 Hard. And I actually didn't think I needed it, but I needed the support from this private support group that you guys set up and everything. I actually almost didn't sign up to 44 Strong because in my mind it was, okay, I'm doing Live Hard, I'm finishing off 75 Hard, I don't need to do something else. And then had that reflection of, well, I didn't get this mindset shift I wanted from 75 Hard, so what makes me think I'll get it from Live Hard because it's the exact same? So
Mm-hmm.
I thought, okay, I'll sign up for it. And it's been great. I've definitely gotten so much more out of it that I thought I would, because I went into it not really understanding my mindset shift, my negative inner dialogue, my depression, and kind of the bad habits I had picked up, but working through it every single day and actually having to reflect on our day, or sometimes with the prompts that we got, having to sit down for maybe 10, 15 minutes and write down and stop and be in present time with these reflection prompts that we had, made me realize so much. And it made me realize like my relationship with myself, made me realize my relationship with alcohol or like my friends and just every aspect of life and being aware of so much.
Yeah. I think that's important because we as women, we tend to try and keep up. We're like, go, 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 go. As soon as our eyes are open, we're on and we're trying to do all the things and trying to keep up. And, we've got work and now you've got your business to run. So, like, there's so much going on that I think we actually forget to take some time to slow down. And in comparison to the 75 hard challenge, it actually encourages more of that. Like, hurry up, get it done. You've got to get all of this done and cram it all into a small period of time, or this is the time you've got for the day. And I feel like a lot of people don't start because they're afraid they can't even get it done. So
Yes.
yeah, so I know when we were looking at building the 44 Strong Challenge, it was super important for us that there was just 3 things to do that day and keeping it very, very simple.
Yes, like there was some days where it would be so on Thursdays I work the early morning shift, so I finish work by 7:30 and I'll come home and I can already tick off 2 out of those 3 tasks that we had to do, and it'll be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning where I'm done. It wasn't something where it was like 8 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh, I've still got to do this. I've still got this task to do. It was just so doable and such a reachable goal every day, which I loved about that.
And I think that was what our intention was to set you guys up for success. And I mean, we last minute we built this program. I think it was about a year ago, and we've been working on and off it for over a year. And it just kind of came a bit left field, and it was like we have to put it out there and we have to see how it goes. And we thought, you
Yeah.
know what, we should do the challenge with everyone as well. And so I just remember this one day where I think all of us were having a hard day.
Yeah.
And I think there was a few of those days, Out of the 44 days, there's going to be a few days that are going to be rough. So I know there was this one day, and everyone in the support group were like, "Oh, for God's sake, we're just trying to get it done." Some of our legs were hurting. Some people were like, "Oh my gosh, I think I've already opened up this layer of what's going on here. Can I fit anything else in?" And I just remember it being it was just that one day collectively. We were all like, "Oh, for God's sake."
Yeah.
But on the other side to it, I felt really supported by everyone. So even though we created it and we created the group and got the support network together, we were also on our own journey in it too. And it was just really awesome to see how amazing and supportive everyone was, particularly with new people starting on different days and going through the program and experiencing different things. So for some, they were focusing on their no drinking or not eating takeaway, or we had a guy focus on giving up pornography, which was much quieter to the group, but he was doing his daily check-ins. And food addictions, I think that was really big. We had quite a number of people working through food addictions or emotional eating, and I just remember like each day everyone's going through and feeling their own things. So what was that experience like for you, being in the support group with all of us and having to show up in there, because that's obviously a big part of the 44 Strong Challenge is you actually have to stay accountable and keep yourself accountable.
Yeah, I actually really, really enjoyed it. The one of the first things that made me not like want to do it was having to post in that support group, because I'm not really someone to be open on social media with that type of stuff. So I was kind of shitting myself with all of that, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to post about how I'm feeling. There's going to be so many people reading it and responding to it. And what if there's judgment? But like, there was none of that whatsoever. And that was it was really amazing watching and like reading about people's days and knowing that I am not alone and there's someone else who's also having a hard day with the challenge that they have to complete. And also knowing that you and Rick are going through the exact same thing as well. So it's not like you guys are telling us what to do, but you're guiding us through it because you're also going through it. And it was really good to put out what I was putting out on the page and like listening to people's feedback or them telling their own story of, do you know what, Ella, I'm feeling like this as well. And there was also times where someone would post something and I would have that moment of realization of, oh, maybe that's what's going on for me, or that's a good way to look about that situation as well. And it was really helpful, and it was what I needed to keep myself accountable.
So I know, but I know other people were wondering this question and wondering this about you as well. So what came out of the 44 Strong Challenge? What did you find out about yourself? What success did you find on the other side once you completed the challenge?
I found out a lot of what triggered my depression. I came more clear on my cycle with my depression and what kind of caused it. And there was situations that I was then reflecting back on with, wow, so this day made me feel like this. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago, I went out with some friends, and these were friends that I don't usually hang out with. I was more the mutual friend, and I was just feeling really left out of conversation because they were having their inside jokes with everyone, and I was just not really a part of that. So I came home feeling really down, and then that week I was feeling really down, kind of falling into that depressive cycle. And then that's what made me realize is, okay, so when I'm feeling out of place, when I'm not speaking up for myself, when I am not strong with my boundaries, that's what triggers it. And having these reflections and being open and going back on day one of what I wrote in my reflection to day 44 was helping me realize of, okay, this is what's causing this, and this is what I need to do to help this situation. And that's like the biggest thing I took away from 44 Strong.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. So it was a long 44 days. Well, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
for me, it was 44 days. But what I really loved in that was you found a new passion, and there was a liveliness about you that really just shone through in those 44 days. So I witnessed you being a bit timid, a bit shy coming in, uncertain of what was going on. You know, you had your own program that you were doing, you had a few things that you were working on. And then towards the back end of 44 Strong, you just popped out of nowhere. You were all over my social media and you were just so lively. And then you relaunched your business and retweaked some things and finally got that up off the floor. And you went ahead and decided to launch your very own podcast, which is just freaking amazing.
Yes.
It was actually awesome to see what is possible and what can happen in those very short 44 days.
Yeah, it's like it was like all of this brain fog I had just disappeared, and I wanted to. It didn't feel like I had to do these things. And also learning what my negative inner dialogue was like, I had those tools to quiet that down. So the stories I was telling myself of, oh, I can't do a podcast, no one's going to listen to it, I'm not going to be good at it, I then changed that and was like, do you know what, I'm just going to put an episode out. And yes, I had those nerves with those first couple of episodes, but I've had such good feedback from it. And I actually have already had a couple of clients message me, or like potential clients message me for my personal training business, which I'm absolutely super excited about. It's just this challenge really helped me be clear on what path I want to take in life.
Oh, it's freaking amazing.
Yay!
Oh, but honestly, I love it because you deserve it. And it's so amazing what happens when we get out of our own bloody way, you know, and
Literally.
what magic we can actually create. And, you know, I just love it because I watched you from the beginning and I'm seeing you now, and like I'm just so proud of you, and I love what you're doing, and I love you so much because you've just blossomed. You've just come right out of your shell and you're really stepping into who you are and you're making waves, and it's bloody amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm just so stoked with the outcome of this challenge, and I'm feeling really, really happy about the whole 44 days. And even though I did have a couple of hard days, I just am absolutely in love with it, and it's something I definitely will do again.
So What would you say to someone who is sitting on the fence, maybe a bit uncertain about joining us or what they could possibly get from the 44 Strong Challenge? Like, what is a message you could say to them?
I would say, and I know this is something people say all the time, but I will say it, and it's just do it, because I wasn't going to. I almost didn't. And if I didn't do it, I'd still be stuck. I wouldn't be doing these things that I'm doing now. I would be stuck in that same mental headspace, and I'll still be, quiet, and just all the negative thoughts will be coming in. So I would just say you sign up, do it, and you need to not tell yourself the stories of, oh, but I work out every day, so I'm fine, because you get so much more out of it, more than you think you would.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. So, what's next for you, Ella? What's next on the cards? I know part of our exercise was you had to think about what your next 6 to 12 months is going to look like. So, tell us, because we're going to come back in 6 to 12 months and find out what you did.
Yes. Well, my next 12 months are going to look a little bit different compared to how I want them to look, because I'm getting surgery on my shoulder. So physically won't be able to work out as much as I want to, and those physical goals I want to have for myself won't be happening. So I'll kind of be on pause with that. But I'm still going to go out of my way to go for walks, get myself out of the house, and still journal. I've really been enjoying the journaling. And I know that, especially in the first couple of months after my shoulder surgery, of being in the sling and being really restricted, not being able to do as many shifts as I want, that would be a huge trigger of me going into that depressive cycle. So I'm going to stay out of my head. I'm going to continue of speaking out loud, asking for help when I need it, being open with people, and just taking those tools that I've learned from 44 Strong. And I also was thinking of, during this time, doing 44 Strong, so I still have that accountability with me having to post on the group, and just doing more of the reflective and mindset side of it rather than the physical side of it, and see how that plays out.
Great idea. And for those of you who are listening, let us know when you're looking at starting, because you might be able to start right alongside Ella.
Yes, that is a good idea.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Honestly, thank you so much for coming on, Ella, and taking some
Thank you
time out.
very much.
It was absolutely amazing. And for those of you who are wondering where you can find Ella, or maybe follow her journey, or get some information about what she's up to and what she's doing, where can people find you?
They can find me at Ellite Fitness. It is ELLITE_fitness on Instagram. That's where I be posting most of my things. And I also speak a lot about my journey with my podcast, which is Breaking into Elite Fitness, on Spotify. I have spoken a lot about 44 Strong and my experience there as well. If people want to know more about me, that's where they can find me.
Fabulous. All right. Well, thanks so much, Ella, for joining us. And
Thank you
we
very
look
much.
forward and we look forward to seeing you all at our next episode.